Hey y'all, what do you get when you have a little bit of Angel and Nice and a little bit of black rock and roll? Find out on today's show.
Welcome back. Was that a good Jeremy gesture?
You gotta fully extend. You gotta reach toward the camera. I know well, I guess maybe you were.
I was. Big head, tiny arms like a T-Rex. All right, seriously. Welcome back to Barstools Bourbon. Jeremy needs to get it together this Tuesday morning.
I swear all I've had is coffee and water this morning.
Oh my God. It's going to be a long one. Super excited about this pairing. I've had the Angel's Envy. It's normally not one of my go-tos just for the sole fact of, like I've said a million and one times, I always lean towards high proof and the high rise, but I like my bourbon with a little more kick. Not on the sweeter end. This one finished in the port wine cask. It does have that hint of sweetness. It's a nice like dessert quality whiskey. The Blackened I have not had. Jeremy definitely sent us the Metallica playlist that came along with this.
Batch 95. If you're curious, I was grinding it all weekend long because I may look like a potato, but I love me some Metallica. I used to, in high school.
I just don't know how potato and Metallica went hand in hand.
Let
but
me tell
fine.
you, mashed potatoes.
Oh my God.
When I was in high school, I used to have a stereo that sat right over my waterbed because that's how old I am, because I'm a G. And I used to have the Metallica Black album on CD. I would put it on repeat, and it would play over me all night long.
I grew up. There were cassette tapes. I am very
You had
young.
like NSYNC.
No.
No.
Mine was John Michael Montgomery. Sold was my song because he went down to the Grundy County auction.
Which was in Lancaster, by the way.
Which was in Lancaster. It's literally 5 minutes from my house, which no longer exists. The actual place.
Yeah,
it's now a 5-star. But I really gave it my best effort trying the Metallica playlist. It was just... I'm a Randy Travis, Cody Jinks person. So it was a lot.
I mean, so all right, these are both finished bourbons. The Angel's Envy is, I can't even call it a high rye because it's very low. Yeah, it's like 72% corn, like 12% rye, and I don't know whatever the math is for malted barley.
What do you mean? What's in my hair, Big Chief? It's a headband. I'm listening. Big Chief is on the live.
So this one's finished in the port wine barrels. Port is a dessert wine. It's really heavy. And usually when you drink it, it looks like a little thimble with a stem on it.
Yeah. You don't drink a full pour of it.
No, it's way rich. So this one has a much sweeter finish. And I've been calling it sherry all weekend in my head, but it's actually, this is finished in brandy casks.
The other lady.
Yep. So, lady's choice. You want to start with the nice or you want to start with the dark today?
Let's do Angel's Envy.
All right.
Is that okay with you?
Yeah, let's do Angel's Envy first. It'll allow me some time to talk more about Blackened and Metallica.
Oh my God, man, we should have gotten that one out of the way. So the legs on this one are pretty heavy.
Yeah, it's a low proof. It's what, 86 or something like that?
It is. I'm surprised to be finished in the port wine barrels that it is so light and like the light amber in color, because normally like the Basil Hayden Dark Rye, which I think that one's in cab barrels.
Dark.
It takes on the red hues. This one.
Yeah, this has more like a thin coppery color, very close to like a Maker's.
Yeah.
It's not real dark, it's not real rich, but a lot of that probably has to do with that low proofing as well. So,
correct. What is the proof coming in?
I think it's like 86 and change, I think, right?
Yeah, 86.6.
Yep. So I can smell the port in it right away. I got those wine hints already. I mean, it's all corn. So, I mean, as far as the mash bill is almost all corn. So it's going to be really sweet on the nose and not a lot of spice.
There's a lot of caramel and vanilla is coming out.
Yeah, it's definitely on the sweeter dessert side of things. You're not going to get a lot of spice out of this one. You're not going to get many of those. I don't think you're going to get many of those rye notes.
There's a little more heat on it than what I originally had, like the last time I drank this.
Right. It's got a little bit. It certainly doesn't have the prickly tongue finish or anything like that I would expect from a rye.
No,
and
there's a touch of back end heat with you can taste the pepperies coming
Mhm.
through. It's not overwhelming by any means. I think the port finish is very prevalent, but this bottle is just more spicy than I remember my last one being.
Yeah, this because I can taste that spice a little bit with that rye. I'm glad they used a rye rather than a wheated, because with the port finish,
It would have been too sweet.
It would have been like maple syrup.
Yeah.
But this is good. I mean, the port balances the little bit of spice that's in there and kind of rounds it out. Now, I believe they're saying on average 4 to 6 years aged for this. So it is a bourbon, a Kentucky straight bourbon that is finished in the port barrels, and I think they're like 60-gallon port barrels or something like that from Portugal. And no, they don't have anything to do with each other. I don't think. Portugal? I don't know. Maybe. Who knows?
You need one last shot of espresso in your coffee.
Never. So
Jeremy is on one. Normally it's me.
oh my gosh, this is good. I like it. I like the
I do
little
too.
angels.
I know people who swear by it. I personally wouldn't, but that all goes into what do you like for your palate, and this is not doing it for me.
If I'm bringing somebody into bourbon, that is maybe a wine person or a tequila person, then yep. I'm probably going to start them in Angel's Envy.
Yeah, that's a good beginner because it is a little hot, but it's not.
Yeah,
it's nothing like what we.
No, not what. Well, anything close to bottled and bond is really gonna be blowing this thing away. You.
Yeah.
Flavor wise, proof wise, everything across the board, it's gonna be stepped up.
Well, that was last week. I had one of the guys from one of the roadies from Bourbon Road send me samples, and it was. Oh, he sent me some amazing samples, but one of them that I've already had, I had some of, again, it was the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, this latest release, Batch C.
Right.
That comes in at 136.6 proof,
hot.
and I'm just like, God, I forgot how hot it was.
136 is crazy. I mean, that's Booker's territory.
It's so good and
it's
flavorful, but man, it is hot.
I mean, I'm good up into the 120s. You get over the 120s, and it magnitude of 10 gets crazy hot.
I call it financial planning. Then I only have to have 2 instead of 4.
That's a fact. I mean, it's something to be said for concentration.
Or you just skip dinner and then only have to have 1.
Good. On an empty stomach. 135 on an empty stomach.
Oh gosh.
That's like drag racing, y'all.
This morning I went to the coffee shop and I was like, dang it, I gotta go back in and go get a pumpkin muffin because I remembered we had to come drink. Can't do it on an empty stomach.
Yeah, can't do that on an empty stomach. Not at all. So Angel's Envy, easy sipper, lot of sweetness, very kind of dessert quality, a little thin for me. I like a little bit more full body, medium to full body on the bourbon. I just like more substantial in my mouth.
Yeah.
Whether it's the oily slickness or whatever. But I think, again, I would love to see this at 100.
I would too.
I
think it would be more for me at that point. But I think it's really good for people who are just getting into it, who like the sweeter, the dessert.
I don't think that'll stand up in a cocktail, though.
I wouldn't put it in an old fashioned. I'm
It'll
probably
hide.
Neat or nothing on this one. But that's just me.
You put simple syrup in that with citrus and a cherry, and it's gone.
Yeah.
Your bourbon is gone. All you're tasting then, you're getting the alcohol, but that is going to be syrup with that. So decent sipper. I mean, easy sipper. Approachable for most people.
I mean, I drank the whole bottle I just had recently.
Yeah, not like in one sitting.
Have you met me? Probably.
You could for 86. Yeah, that's about right.
Probably.
So on to the one that I was honestly most excited about this time. This thing. All right, for those of you who don't know, backstory on Blackened. So Dave Pickerel, who was the former master distiller at Maker's Mark, gets so
Maybe
used
you
to
needed
saying
more espresso. I don't know what you're doing.
Dave Pickerel was former master distiller at Maker's Mark. He's now the head blender, taster, whatever, over at Whistlepick, who's got a lot of stuff coming out. And they're doing almost all blends, finishes, doing source stuff, doing a lot of incredible stuff.
They're piggyback. The 6-year rye, I mean, it's to a lot of people it's hit or miss, but I personally love it. It's like for the price point, I think it's a really good, easy sipper.
And now the 6 year is like $50-$60, something like that. But after that, you start getting in 10s and 12s, and it starts getting a little.
It gets pricey.
It gets up there pretty quick. But the Blackened, so I was so excited about this because Blackened is a partnership with David Pickerel and the band Metallica. Metallica was my jam in high school and still is. I still listen to them. Them and Foo Fighters, they're my go-tos. Not this one over here.
Mine was Luke Bryan and Jesse McCartney.
Yep. They've never seen anything like this. So what they do with Blackened is they take a blend of different bourbons and whiskeys, and I think most of them is actually bourbons, and then they put them in brandy casks. And then I think it's like 6 months. They're aging these things and finishing them in brandy casks. And each batch, and you can see your batch number on the neck label. Each batch has a playlist picked out by the band. Sometimes multiple members, sometimes a single member. This batch 95 was picked out. The playlist was set up by Lars Ulrich, who is the drummer for Metallica, one of the founding members of Metallica. The first song on it was "For Whom the Bell Tolls," and that's where you stopped, right? "For Whom the Bell Tolls" was it. One of their most iconic songs, and she had to jump over and listen to Tyler Childers or New Kids on the Block or NSYNC or something.
I did go to a Backstreet Boys concert back in September, and it was so cool. I was like, it's all people my age, and we can all drink and sing I Want It That Way. It was really fun.
They ask you going into a Metallica concert if you've ever been to an NSYNC concert, and if you do have, they just...
No, they do
They
not.
do. They make you leave. They make you leave.
Well, good thing I would never be caught there.
I definitely would. This old man would be front row center. I would come out of there deaf as a post and loving every moment of it.
This one's a lot thicker.
Oh, yeah.
And the color on it's a little darker. This is coming in at a nice amber, I feel like.
It coats the side of this glass.
Yeah.
Like just like motor oil. That is nice. Mm-hmm.
I'm excited.
Ooh,
Tell me what's new in your real estate world while we're doing this. Other than the fact that you keep not letting me sign the papers and give me the keys to my new house.
Something about the loan officer or something like that, or the mortgage company.
Just kidding. You've been working really hard.
They are phenomenal. We're very, very close to this thing.
I know. I'm so excited.
Yeah, real estate's going well. I mean, I have two listings under contract. Both of them supposed to close before the end of the month. On the listing side of things, and I've got 2 new constructions under contract. Got yours under contract. It's pretty crazy.
You're busy.
Been keeping busy.
Love it though. I want to plan the day for us to go around and do the tour of all the old fashions in Central Kentucky. Yeah, that'd be a long
I knocked out 2 this weekend. I knocked out 2. 21C at Proof on Main in Louisville. I'm telling you.
Okay, this is like
the nose on this is nice. Yep.
Like it's bright.
I get some I can smell some rye in there.
Yeah, like the baking spices are there, but like it's caramely and fruity.
Yep, and that's probably that blend. Thank you, Dave Pickerel.
I'm excited.
All right, this is more my jam. Okay, I'm getting a lot of that doughiness and the rye.
That was my
right through
first thought immediately.
Is very doughy. It's got some very mild sweet on the tongue, on the tip to start.
Getting a lot of like cinnamon.
The clove.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, this is nice. And what are we proofing at? This is at 90. So proof wise, these are very, very close. But for me, this has much more robust flavor than the Angel's Envy.
This doesn't, you said it's 90?
90.
It drinks a little.
More like a 95.
Yeah. Huh. I like
that nose
this.
Is nice.
Good job,
like
Jeremy, picking this. I'm never going to give you props for anything, but this one, you get it.
And here's the thing. You know what sold me on this? Metallica. That's what sold. I would have bought this bourbon if I hated it. It would have sat on my bar, and anybody who came over and liked heavy metal, I'd say, "Dude, I got the whiskey for you."
Cody Jinks, please come out with a whiskey. Actually,
it'd be like a Tennessee or Texas whiskey.
That's what in all his songs he always says. My favorite song of his is called "Must Be the Whiskey," and he says, "I love you on my mind. I got Jim Beam on my breath."
There you go.
And I'm like, all right, I can get down with that.
Kentucky.
I can get down with it. His song, "Somewhere in the Middle," is probably one of my favorite songs ever written. And I wish, like, if everybody had that attitude at, like, the message he's trying to portray in that song. Like, there's one verse where he says, "I have friends that have no school and friends that went to grad school. I'm somewhere in the middle. It's all fine."
Yep.
Like, it's literally just about rolling through life. He says, "I learned more bartending and meeting people in life. You never know who you're talking
Exactly,
to."
right.
And I just love the message of that song in general. And that's why I love him, though, because everything that he sings, I'm like, relate. And then it can be something I don't relate to, and I'm still crying into a glass of whiskey because relate, I guess.
Love it. I tell you what, this has got a lot more depth to it and profile than the Angel's Envy. It really, really does. I am getting more of that prickly type of rye heat on my tongue. Not like crazy amount. It's certainly not close to a barrel strength or anything like that, and that's fine. But this is a nice sipper with some nice complexity. You're not going to get seriously massive amounts out of this thing, but there's enough there to definitely keep a more moderate palate entertained, and not going to chase off a new palate.
Yeah, it's not overpowering.
Not in the slightest. I tell you what, to bring somebody into bourbon, these two would be a great start.
I think
to sit down and bring both of these in. Now they're both finished. That's fine. And I'm nothing against finished. I'm nothing against blends. Every bourbon distiller blends.
Right, and that's my thing with whiskey in general. Whatever gets people to loving it and loving that world. And sometimes the finished ones, they're easier. It's a really good entry level. It works you up to that higher proof, to the barrel strength and things like that. So if this is what it takes.
I'm getting so much more of that rye now. I mean, I'm not quite the dill.
No.
But very herbal.
I haven't gotten any dill off of it, but I have gotten a lot of herbal notes.
Yeah. I like it. I like the story behind this thing 100%. Dave Pickerel's great, but the fact that Yars Ulrich picked the playlist for this batch of bourbon, to me, hits all the bases for me. I absolutely love it.
Did you get a lot of oak in it?
Yeah, I mean, there is a moderate amount of oak.
It's there, but it's here and gone.
Right. It's not like some where you would almost call it an over-oaked. Or even when they do like a Woodford double or anything like that, it's where it tastes like you're almost sniffing a 2x4, which is fine. I like that too. But it's there. It's the background.
I can see you right now in the low section with 2x4s.
Smelling the wood. No jokes. Oh my God. No jokes. So last thing I wanted to leave us on.
I'm not eating that.
Have you had it before?
Yes.
Okay. So a few weeks ago, a few months, probably maybe even a year ago, Fred Minnick started talking about marzipan in as a flavor profile in bourbon.
Yeah.
And my experience with marzipan was when I was about 5 years old, so it had left my brain. So I went out, thank you Amazon.com, and picked up some marzipan. You gotta try it with me.
This is my face when Graham tried to give me tap water.
You gotta try it. It's not like the best candy in the world, but it's one of those things that I think does have a place within bourbon and whiskey tasting.
I'm not picky. I just don't like the texture.
It doesn't have hardly any smell at all. Come on.
I'm trying to pick out what color I want.
They're all the same, I swear to you.
It still matters.
It's not like Skittles.
It still matters. I want this one. Jeremy.
So almond and very, very, very sweet. Almost like buttercream icing type of sweet, but has that almond background. So when you hear somebody in a profile of a bourbon talking about marzipan, oh my gosh, she's
I'm good.
Hurl.
It's the
She's gonna
texture.
hurl.
It's the texture. I don't like it. I'm sorry.
She's gonna hurl. At least she tried it.
No, it has a good flavor. I love the almond in it.
Right.
It feels so weird. I don't eat Jell-O either.
The texture's fairly gritty, but the flavor profile is very, very sweet almondy.
Yeah, and there's a lot of I taste a lot of cherry.
Mm-hmm. There is some. I think there's some fruiter side to it.
I see where it has a place in whiskey. I just wanted to keep its place in that box.
Well, it's true. I mean, I certainly am not going to have a diet of marzipan.
Oh man,
that's like one candy a month. It's like fruitcake. Once a year,
yeah,
done.
And I don't do sweet stuff. I'm like a black coffee and sweet tea drinker.
Oh,
all my sugar comes from whiskey.
Because buttercream icing.
Oh yeah, no, it's too much.
Everybody around here loves it. It kills me. It hurts my jaw.
Yes.
With buttercream icing.
Bluegrass and Buttercream, I love their products, but I'm like, I used to be able to eat it more. Now I'm like, one bite into a cupcake, and I'm like, I can't.
It hurts.
It all hurts my stomach really bad.
Literally causes me pain in my jaw. It's crazy. It's crazy. All right. So coming up, we've got some really, really great guests lined up. Working on scheduling at this point.
One of my favorite humans in the whole world.
A diverse lineup. We're not going to give it away.
Oh, jeez, I can't say your name.
No, Jessica. And,
Jess Atkins.
And we've also got a couple others who've committed to coming on the show as well. So
that's exciting.
Very, very excited. Someone local that is I believe a Danville native.
Yeah.
Has also said that she's going to come on the show as well.
It'll be really nice to have her. She's sweet.
Yeah. So we are really, really excited about what we've got coming up. If you guys have anything you want to see, anything you're curious about, holler.
You just picked me up this bottle from 21C of Old Scout.
Old Scout 107.
It's a barrel pick.
Barrel pick. I got myself one as well, and also found a 4-year-old WTD barrel pick over there as well, and that made its way home.
I just got 2 wilderness barrel picks on Saturday, so I'm literally banned this week. Chris was like, "You didn't buy another bottle, did you?" No. Too funny.
All right. Well, thank you all again for joining us. We will see you in 2 weeks.
Jeremy, what are these called again? Gestures. I forgot my word. Thank you.
Protect the bottles. See
Seriously,
y'all.
thank you all.
Bye-bye.
I'm doing Jeremy gestures the whole show.
Oh my gosh, you have to.
You want me to?
Absolutely.
Okay.
What do you think, y'all? Should she do Jeremy gestures the whole show? She's going to knock something over, I guarantee it.
All right.
All right.